Okay, for those of you who are as crazy as me and want to hang a light and not have to mess around with scaffolds and all that crap, well, here's what I did. As you can see, it's a conventional, mercury vapor or high pressure sodium. I just haven't put the shade and the light on. That is the bulb, until I'm done making certain that all my components are working right. And that is my lift mechanism. And I'll show you that in a minute. So what I did was I got to come along from Home Depot and I modified it a little bit. Same components, as you can see, ratchet, dog, cable. It's all the same stuff, and you'll see how it acts. Now, one thing you got to remember is when you're working in the wintertime and you're in the north, these things get ice on them. I keep moving this camera around. These things get ice on them, and the chances are good that it might stick, and your pole's going to come down like a maniac. So make sure you take a torch and heat up both this dog and your bracket. See this dog right here? And your latch on your handle. See that right there? You want to make sure that those things are workable. Okay, now that's mounted to the building. I think with four 7/16 or 3/8 bolts. There's not that much strain on this. The whole assembly. I got 20 foot of pole, 20 foot of thin wall galvanized. Let's see, I had 3/4 on, but that was too light, so I changed it to inch and 1/4. And then you'll notice right out here, because I'm 20 feet, I'm right in the sun too. I can't get that. I don't think I can get that on the video, but yeah, see that joint right there? I made a 2-foot joint, because anything less than that, or even screw them together, you can use, if you want, you can use rigid, but that's getting pretty heavy. And that means your upper mast, and I'm going to show you that in a minute as I go up this ladder. It means your upper mast is going to have to really be stout to pick up more weight. Now this is the upper side. See, and the pole pivot's right there. Right through a 1/2-inch bolt pivot. But there's your upper mast right there. See the mast going up? It's going up about 5.5 or 6 feet above that pivot point. See that pivot point right there? Anyway, see the mast is mounted in 2 places, about 18 inches or 2 foot apart. And I got 4 serious bolts in both of them. Because when that pole is completely out or at 3/4, that's when the majority of your weight's on there. But see, there's your pivot point. And that 1-inch that 1-inch angular rod you see sticking down, that's my guide to make sure once the pole starts up, it stays on track to go up there, up the mast, and then go into that U-shaped coupling up there, see? And then see the pulley on the cable right beside it? And then what you're seeing here as a close-up, let me back off a little bit without falling off this freaking ladder. Maybe I can't. Let me shrink this down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, see, there's your junction box, because my wire to the light comes right to here. And then obviously, since you're picking a pole up and down, you got to have a flex. See the flex? The flex goes back into the building that way. So your wires, your electrical wire is is never rubbed, never touched, never compromised by the movement of your pole. You got enough, I got about 3 foot of flex in here. So as you jack your pole up, or as you ratchet it up, then that flex pulls back against the building. And again, see, this is 20 foot long. So, I'm mounted about 8 feet up on the building or 10 feet up on the building. By the time you get done, it's, 25, 30 feet in the air. I don't have to do anything. All I got to do is ratchet it down right there, run my ratchet, let the pole come down. You got to be, sensible as you're bringing it down, because once it's horizontal, there's a lot of flex in it, so you got to be careful and come down gently. And, and then change your bulb or change your photocell or whatever, but no scaffold. And this has been working, I don't know now, 5 or 6 years. The only thing that happened, as I talk, I'll hold the video on there. The only thing that happened is I think I mentioned it, I used 3/4 inch thin wall and welded it together and thought I had a pretty good joint, but a couple weeks ago my ball burned out, so I was letting it down. That stupid ratchet was frozen. It got away from me. I snagged it about halfway and the pole snapped in half. Too thin, not structurally sensible. Now the support mechanism is more than structurally sensible, but my pole was a little bit light duty. So just take some advice. Use at least 1 inch pipe. If you're going to go up 20 feet, then I would put at least a 2 foot joint sleeve on that, and not expect that joint between those 2 pipe to hold. And then again, see where I attach the cable? Rather than weld to the thin wall pipe, I put a collar on there and welded that. And so my cable comes down to just 2 holes in that little dog. I wrap the cable around and it's done. Makes it pretty simple. All the times you're going to change bulbs and photocells and all that other crap, you got to build a scaffold or shake the hell out of yourself with a 40-foot ladder. And in some places you can't even get a ladder, because if the pole's up there, how are you going to put a ladder against the pole? So anyway, there's my rig. I might put some additional photos and drawings on to give you a good sense how this works. Anyway, thanks.